Impact, it all tied together, but then they made one massive crucial mistake, and that is the concept. Samsung Galaxy is playing so solid that you can't give them a single breathing room of opportunity.
Truly, that was most definitely a game-winning play to have the teleport flash engage come through and a perfect pincer attack from Samsung. Cloud9, though, that was part of the risk of running that comp that we talked about.
Right. See, the Kennen was the last ban for Samsung Galaxy here in game 1. We also saw the Syndra coming from Cloud9 side with a Nidalee ban. Something the analyst thought maybe something they could do without, but also Nidalee being one of the most picked ban champions here at Worlds. It's a very scary one to leave up.
The most 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Every single game.
Also, a couple little interesting things here. Rumble rising in value. Kennen is banned. Jhin is banned now. Caitlyn rises in value a little bit, as they both actually have prioritized Caitlyn as a second pick when the Jhin is not on the table. Once again, though, Ambition steals away the Olaf.
Karma Caitlyn here would be a good rotation.
Exactly.
Because they rely so much on the movement speed burst. Yes, you can play sustained support in the lane, but the Nami doesn't accelerate the Olaf just quite as much as the Karma does. They already have the one strong range laner of the pairing in the Jhin Caitlyn pairing. They took the Caitlyn, so this is a really good opening draft for C9. And they look to be playing a similar style as game 2. Maybe we can see more help for Impact.
Definitely a possibility. Plus, I feel like the value of a first pick Olaf is not very high at all. You talked about the synergies that he has with other champions, but the difference between the Olaf in the early game and the Rek'Sai hasn't been as big because both these junglers do focus so heavily on the farm and have not gone for those super brutish plays of just running through a lane with Ghost on.
I would love to see an Elise here actually just lock in the early Orianna, get the Elise back from Meteos, play towards the top side of the map here. You know that Orianna outscales. You can punish Cassio early because she moves in a very defined pattern when she trades.
She's a snake. She has to serpentine, zigzag back and forth, Greppo. Honestly, though, that is a good thing that you bring up because it's a thought that a lot of the fans of Cloud9 have had is Meteos, whenever he's streaming, I see him on this Elise so often, and yet he doesn't pick it in pro play. You know, doesn't go for these super early aggressive Elise games because I don't know, maybe they feel like it falls off too much later. They don't have the confidence in it, later in the team fighting phase, but for whatever reason, it hasn't been there, even though every time you turn into a stream, he's 10-1 on Elise.
The safety of kind of counter jungling with that Rek'Sai in the early game, you dip in and out in tunnels, or slingshot in and out in tunnels if it's a possibility here this game. It looks like the Orianna will be one of those lock-ins, but does the Zac attack come back in game 3? Not yet. Swap off. It was just a hover. We always get baited. It's Jace for Impact.
I do like the Zac attack towards Cassiopeia in the mid lane for the same reasons that you just mentioned for the Elise Greppo. So it is definitely still an option. And I like the mind games of hovering it, but I don't think they're going to lock it in.
Watch Cuvee steal away the Zac top lane right now. But the Orianna ball can always drop too. That's a strong combination there as well with the Zac. They're just looking at the other picks here, see if they have any hard counters. Poppy would be a blocker, honestly. For Zac, Steadfast Presence is incredibly easy.
The other thing that, to me, has been kind of undervalued for all these Poppy players at Worlds, like, it's so incredibly important to have multiple ways, multiple tools to end out the games. And the Keeper's Verdict, Poppy ult, is so good at pushing down turrets later in the game when you get up into this kind of stalled out 30-minute game, either knocking back their wave clear, pushing somebody out. It's so good at pushing towards turrets. And we have actually seen a decent amount of players utilize that.
All right, Meteos. What you gonna do? Is he gonna be the Zac? We definitely need an element of aggression here. C9 have a matchup in the top lane that can definitely push. They have a bot lane that can fend for itself, especially now that the melee support has been locked in. Early game, Jensen will lose the pressure, but if Cloud9 play around top side like they did game 2, they definitely have a way into this game. Samsung Galaxy, again, looking for the mid game. Really big spike there.
And I think that's key. You have to play off of your strengths. You go super aggressive, get an early game in there, early game jungler in there, early ganks to try and get these offensive picks that they've already got off the table. I mean, they've got all range champions at the moment, and that is very good when you have a gold lead, when you have the threat of all this damage and the items to purchase, but they're gonna need some early game to really run off of.
I thought it was just the hover happiness, if you will. Get the crowd to cheer. bring the spirits back up, but he does lock in the Zach. It will be part of the game. There's much more of a delivery now for Jensen as well. But it might be the all-in that's cost Cloud9 games before if they can't hit it right. It's going to be a tough one. Samsung Galaxy looking strong with the comp they brought before, except for that Poppy in the top. A bit more speed from the bottom lane, and we saw the B-roll of Core JJ on that Tom Kench being aggressive with Ruler. Cloud9 now going to try their hand back on the red side in Game 3.
Yeah, crowd believes they're still in it. Yeah, really keen to see if Samsung can continue this dominance, because we were talking about ways of how does C9 get back in. What's the way in for them? But honestly, we can't understate just how impressive Samsung have looked. So constant in the mid game.
Definitely, and one of the scariest things is that they're running a very similar style here, where they are going to have that engage advantage. And to me, it's very important that that Samsung are one of the teams that have recognized that about Olaf. Oh my goodness, the karma's been taken away. We don't have that speed. We need to get the Sivir. That might sacrifice some pressure bottom lane though for Cloud9 and open up an area of the map that has been dominated by Ruler and Core JJ.
All right, Cloud9 looking to keep these quarterfinal hopes alive with the back against the wall. Samsung Galaxy on game point as we head into our third match. Hashtag SSG win. Hashtag C9 win. Show your support over on Twitter. We'll see how you're voting as we get into this game. Yeah. Cloud9 once again to reset their minds, start all over, and for the fans, hopefully start that reverse sweep.
And last game we had Poke and Siege versus Big on teamfight. Right now it's honestly 2 teamfight compositions.
Yep.
In the mid game.
All right, let's start prepping this Zach stuff, because
I mean, I've got a jungler on the desk here.
Zach, so I talk about the bottom lane being incredibly important.
I do that enough already.
It's
You
been
talk
a
about Zach.
theme.
Kobe's got the mic.
But we can combine our powers, because if the Sivir Tom Kench try and get one of those shoves, try and get control of the minion wave, which is going to be difficult, Zach has so many ways to gank the bottom lane. We always talk about mid lane, but from that position where Sneaky's standing, if you move just a little bit down, it's very easy for Zach to hop over that wall as well and try and punish the Samsung bottom lane. It's a little bit telegraphed to always go mid as Zach, because everybody's always expecting it, and you do see the shadow on the ground. So mid laners are very used to looking for that shadow of the Zach Elastic Slingshot. However, a lot of duo laners are not quite used to it.
It is good though, because when these guys start trading in the mid lane, we saw just how long a trade could go on.
Oh, yes.
In the Orianna Cassiopeia matchup. And even if he's not there, if you're playing against a Zach and you're trading onto 20%, you can bet you're going to flash.
It is going to change the way the mid lane is played, right? I talked about the psychological profiling of each other a little bit earlier in the last game. We've determined that both Crown and Jensen are very unwilling to back down and will go trading blow for blow down to 100 health.
But Crown, he will have to burn that flash early because of the implication. The implication of a Zach gang. And here, good early zone. This is what you got to do. You step behind the range keep. Now Smoothie's left behind by his AD carry because he wants CS. Luckily, not a big punish. Look how slow they're pushing. You don't hit the minions here. You maximize uptime before level 2.
Denying a few.
Yeah, Core JJ wants to walk in with the minion wave. He's escorting Ruler in, but once this wave settles, you'll see both of them walk up right now. That's what they're doing, because they're not giving him any CS. They force to Devour early, so no QE start either.
It's a long cooldown on Devour as well.
And it's really big, because a good Tahm Kench player wants to start Q into Poke and then put an early point into Grey Shield after, never even skilling Devour. So C9 pressure is big already.
They're able to get onto Ruler as well. See how much they can still pressure this. 10-1 in CS, but it's a big wave to clean up for Ruler.
As a jungler, you have to read the way this bottom lane is going as well. This Scuttle Crab in the river becomes incredibly important. Meteos should make a beeline for it. He is going to get that alone time with the crab. So that just means that there's one area that Cloud9 bottom lane have to ward to be safe.
And that means one checkbox is done in the river, which means your ward, which usually goes in the middle of the river, can now be placed in Tri-Brush, and we could actually see Smoothie or Sneaky run for that. Look how Ambition is not even considering ganking bot. He's like, no, we're done, so we're pushed in. I haven't seen that Scuttle Crab. He's 90% sure that is down anyways. So Core JJ and Ruler are playing on an island. He can't even CS. He's in the belly of his support right now.
And this is what I talked about in Champ Select. Even though you pick out the Sivir for the speed later in the game, it might open up an area on the map for Cloud9 to actually pressure. They have not really pushed on any of these pressure points of Samsung. They've been very scared after that first game where they got beaten so badly, but this is a definite opportunity. Meanwhile, top lane, Impact by himself in the 1v2.
Ambition went in, saw red, knows he's going to have some free time top as Meteos will be on the bottom, who just delivered blue buff over to Jensen, but Samsung trying to start things off early.
As safe as the bottom lane is for Cloud9, the top lane is extremely vulnerable up here with Jace now not having flash and Poppy being so good at setting up ganks here. The flash from Poppy can be used to stun into the wall.
Good communication too. So they know bot lane is under an island router but won't get gold. He passed into the enemy jungle, bypassing the ward spot, Ambition that is, and then moves top lane for a really good gank. In fact, went for the escape play, but burns his summoner doing so.
Yeah, and now the thing is, for Impact, you can actually just try and CS at your turret. You got your minion wave pushing towards you in a good spot, and knowing that you don't have your flash now, try and play a little bit more conservatively. I know also, talking to a lot of the top laners, the challenger top laners, Zig specifically, did not think that the Poppy Jace matchup went in Jace's favor simply because Poppy can build so much tank and it becomes very difficult to deal damage to him. Azael and Zig on that top lane stream went pretty in depth in it actually if you want to go back and check out all they had to say.
Definitely, but the tradition of Poppy at Worlds has been losing by 30 CS, keeping it at 30 CS for a while, and then building tank. Right now, Sneaky getting approached to the lane. Look at it, they're luring Ambition out. This is not a gank. This is a reset point. You just want to move up with the jungler, get rid of the minion wave, but even 3v2, there's so much poke. Smoothie is not afraid.
Gets the tether, almost locking down Ruler, and all of the team is forced to walk away on that one.
First turret gold is such a big objective in the current state of the game that having a winning bottom lane, winning this much, is such an asset. Now they bring down Meteos just for that turret gold.
Loving it, and they revealed Ambition in the bot lane, which means Impact, his wave was being purposely bounced in the top lane. Look at the support here. Murica. Yeah, this wave bounced.
Pleased.
Poppy let it bounce back to try and punish Impact, but the second Ambition backed up from the top lane, Impact had a free push, but right now he's in danger.
Oh, the verdict is in! Cuve, first blood!
Again, Cuve kills Impact all by himself.
I thought that was going completely backwards. Impact had set up a giant wave that Cuve fought in, took so much damage, and then said, the wave's gone. Let's fight again. Here now in the mid lane, calls down the Reckoning Swing, and now this is going to be a kill onto Jensen. Flash goes down as well, and Crowns is still up.
C9 not aware of the cross map. They had their jungler doing so much work in that turret, but they pushed up aggressively. Impact could have just shoved in and left the lane. That's enough. He doesn't have to stay that deep. What an outplay top lane, and then Jensen also overextending.
The hugest part of League right now. Okay, well let's take another look at this because
I mean, it's quite simple.
He hits level 6.
Shouldn't be there.
Goes into Taxi on the minion. Boom.
That was sick play though. That was pretty nice.
Got lollipop.
Honestly though, what we're going to talk about is when you do have, as you say, the winning side of the map there, bottom lane, you commit your jungler, you have to retract the resources that you have on the other side of the map. The solo lanes have to realize that they're outnumbered on the other side of the map. Even though Cloud9 are gaining this big advantage on the bottom side, they continue to play super aggressively with both solo laners, and they both go down. Here we go, though. Cloud9 team play.
Nice tether. Right as the steadfast presence falls, and Meteos flies right through Eagle Eye, helping the team get the kill.
Punish him for using that flash on Impact, and Meteos easily able to land it there.
Damn, it almost looked like Smoothie gave away the play by running up early, but the
Rinse and
Meteos
repeat?
timing was so perfect. That was like frame perfect. I don't think he could put any earlier.
So we did talk about his experience on Elise. Everybody remembers the Meteos Zac in his debut in the LCS many years ago. Cloud9's most dominating era.
But did Poppy even exist back then? The new Poppy?
Doesn't matter what the target is, land the slingshot.
Was able to come up with the King of the Jungle moniker, so he keeps that one going. He can come back here. It could be the reverse sweep for Cloud9, but it's a lot of work. They're going to start here. 2 games to Samsung already, and again, Cloud9 has not hesitated in the early game to start things off. and now try to put themselves in the lead. 2K, well, 2.7K.
14 CS in the dual lane matchup lead. There's Jensen pushing. This trade right now is going okay for Impact. There's 1, 2, 3 pink wards in the river. Top side is in complete control. The Samsung Galaxy is desperately trying to counter that by doing bot lane invades.
Yep, definitely hard for Meteos to fight the 1v1, but he does have the advantage of his solo laners coming pretty quickly. Meanwhile, top side.
Ooh, very nice trap going out. Good dodge as well by Core JJ as they get Ruler to safety. In the bottom half of the map now is trying to be lit up by Samsung Galaxy, as well as give Meteos a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, very big steal there for Ambition to actually get that blue buff. Really empowers Olaf's clear speed and the threat that he can bring to that 1 versus 1. Meteos can never fight this Olaf in a 1 versus 1, so has to be very careful with the vision that they do fight. Also opens up Ambition to most definitely hand that blue buff of Samsung's own over to Crown. Top side, though, is the next target.
They saw him. They got to run. They see CoreJJ would never walk up, so he's kind of giving it away.
You're absolutely correct. That change in positioning gave it away, but it doesn't matter. Samsung Galaxy going straight under the turret with the denial from Tom Kench, and they just eat up Ambition.
Ambition just, he ran by the mid lane in full vision into the enemy jungle here. This is
also threw up his flare.
A collapse in communication here. Good E from Sneaky, but this is definitely a misplay from C9 as a team. Should never die to that gank.
Definitely has been one of the issues for Cloud9, is playing defensively, giving up CS in an area of the map that they know that they're outnumbered on, or know that there's a possibility of a Samsung play.
And Ambition, he's the guy keeping Samsung in the game. Their bot lane is drowning, asking for help. He says, nope, hang in there, goes for the cross map, takes away enemy blue buff, then runs up, gets a kill.
It was critical that the kill credit did go over to Ruler as well, I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep that pick as a first priority. Olaf, and it's been coming up big. Beautiful flash by Crown. Actually dodges all of the engage, not even slowed there.
Quick double summoner burn there from Cloud9. And remember how important the vision around the mid lane is going to be for the way that those two mid laners like to play.
Yep. Takes a lot longer for that flash and ghost to come back up, so there might be possibility of another attack for C9. As Crown is going to go ahead and pick up blue. They'll get an idea of where Ambition is on the map as he still hovers top side. But Core JJ, looks like he's going to start getting wards around and start making it a little easier for Samsung to find engages.
And that mid lane, even though they're timing this with a Jensen recall, could be a jungler support gank. As Smoothie is there.
Yeah, but the Abyssal Voyage comes in. Unfortunate that Meteos has to bounce out on that one. They are keeping that clock going for engages, and it never goes too long before we see Cloud9 engage again to try and get this game in their favor.
But that's Crown. Poked out of the mid lane right there. While having blue buff, Ruler right now being challenged. Another Devour.
Core JJ with a lot of key saves here. Jensen, though,
very far pushed up. Not expecting QV from the bot lane, but the presence of junglers throws this one just off balance. Everybody backs off.
And that is a matchup I want to revisit because Azale and Zig's conversation was so interesting in the 1 versus 1 matchup of the Poppy Jace. That was a roam from QV after pushing up the lane. He's getting to the tanky point. He doesn't even have the boots yet, though. And we'll have to see if Impact can actually pressure in the split push, because we talk about how Jace can take down turrets so quickly. He does have the Black Cleaver.
To the skies, damage denied in the bot lane. A little back and forth love taps for the top side. Nobody's fully engaging on this one. As Impact goes for those power shots, does not finish it with the shot blast.
And look how confidently he's playing that matchup, even though there's no vision for Impact. So that is such a scary thing to do, trading like that versus a champion that also has more CC than you do. All right, here we go mid lane, though. Jensen dodges the first axe and the second. 2 for 2.
Yeah, a lot of these corner ganks coming out. Another same play here. Has to be careful. If the ultimate there sticks from the Poppy, there's a good chance Impact has to flash.
Impact actually drawing attention of the jungler as well. Ambition down to the bottom side, walks over the ward, and Impact going to give that one up.
Yeah, and the same thing can't happen in the top lane. Meteos has been spotted out. He's having a very hard time committing. Looking for counter jungle instead because they just quite can't go for the dive. Exhaust and double flash available on Ruler and Core JJ. They're holding on. There is a teleport though. If Impact bases switches the side of the map, they could go for a 4v2 dive, hoping that QB is late.
Double pink lane on the first 1-2 pick here for Cloud9 and that Caitlyn Karma. They want it to be able to come out strong. They want to be able to use sneaky towards this late game, scale the Orianna up as well. They have time in this game, but I don't know if Samsung is going to give it to him.
Ghost is up on Crown, but no flash. Medius is in prime position, looking for a gank out of Fog of War. Here he goes.
Right onto Crown. Flash is still down.
Miscommunication.
Shockwave as well, as Jensen tried to follow up a little short on the command protect. Good heal push out of Ruler there as Sneaky goes hard.
So the thing there is that Mios did not want to follow that gank under the turret because of the possibility of Petrifying Gaze, you know, killing him under it. But he does have the Zac passive where you can die, and just for getting off that Shockwave. The possibilities, though, because they don't have vision, are super risky, right? They don't have full confidence that they can finish off that kill, and it is a risky play to go for.
Oh, that deal no damage.
It looks like he's healing him. That's unfortunate for him back there in the top side. His turret's going to be falling quite soon. Cloud9 does already have that turret in their favor, which is why they've swapped Sneaky and Smoothie, but it looks like it may be evened up here as QV just needs about one more minion wave at the turret.
It seems so frustrating to play against Samsung Galaxy. They always rubber band in the mid game, so you got to stretch them so thin that they snap before you get there. But so far, C9 hasn't been able to do that. He got up around 1,000 gold early with some good moves. And the potential to get up in the first game too with some really great roams, but they couldn't quite execute them. The last two ganks in the mid lane failed too here, so as a team, C9 still have work to do. Looking at this next tower, the lane gank from Medios could be the counter. Look.
Nice try, but he comes out just on the left of the Abyssal Voyage, not on the Cupcake. Sneaky's the focus here. They're going to go ahead and get a quick kill over to Ambition. Now over to Smoothie. Ambition very close to going down, and the Boomerang cuts Sneaky down. They're trying to exit the fight now. The teleport does not come in from Impact. It is, however, a double kill for Medios. They might be able to follow this. He's too low to dive, even with the passive.
Here comes Crown, though, and he's
Crown, a good angle to cut this off if he gets a miasma in and could finish up some damage.
Slip and slide!
Exactly how it happened. Another flash as Jensen and Crown basically in the same mindset of the attack. Who's first? Looking for the buckler. Cuvée not even going for the shield. He goes instantly for the kill. Could be eat up. Yes, it's going to be Core JJ once again to deny the kill, and now they're on the blobs. Coming up so huge from cross map, Samsung Galaxy basically wipes out Cloud9.
Core JJ with some massive devours in that fight, buying so much time. Even the miraculous double kill wasn't enough. This is just some stalling right here. C9 is looking at the turret, not at the kills.
Exactly. After all of these kills have gone down, Cloud9, because they died earlier, get to be out on the map again and look for the objective. He's too tanky, man.
Yeah, you gotta do
He's actually too tanky.
You gotta do the short version of that quote.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the benefit of full armor stacking since he was in Jace's lane. Doesn't take much damage from either of those abilities. Cloud9, though, do claim the objective afterwards.
Let's see. Well, that was a beautiful exchange of abilities. It all starts Core JJ delivering the Olaf. I don't think Sneaky quite expected to get out. Counter gank is great, 2v3, but it's so hard for Sneaky to get out of Ambition's range right there. Good reach from Medios, though. Again, Devour right here. Super good from Core JJ. But Medios realizes he can win that play.
Cuvée has been...
see that it was Cuvée from that topside fight.
Cuvée has been so big for Samsung. I mean, he interrupts the Jace, then he's going to be able to teleport after finishing that turret. He got so much for Samsung in that last play.
Yeah, we didn't see the good shockwave from Jensen, knowing that would force Crown's flash. But in this matchup, it's always a two-part trade. First shockwave gets the flash, the second one at least zones him out or kills him.
Yeah, you take that trade every single time. And now that it's up to them to punish, because Crown does have Ghost, but no flash available.
Cuvée right back to work on the top turret. Gold pretty much even after all of this chaos. But the 3 kills are onto Medios, so he's still going to have to be very, very big here in the upcoming fights for Cloud9. Kills spread across Cuvée, Ambition, and Ruler. Looking much better for Samsung Galaxy, but Cloud9 has still been able to find their ends in these fights.
Both junglers centered around the top lane right now.
And remember, in those trades, Impact wants the extended trade so he can build up the Black Cleaver stacks and he can whittle them down, get those auto attacks in as Cuvé's trying to run away from the trade, whereas Cuvée, he wants the short trades. He can do it under the shield of the Buckler, going with the combo, and then just disengage.
Ambition stole the Scuttle Crab right there. There was push up in the bot lane. Samsung keeping the map open.
Yeah.
They want to use that Tahm Kench. They popped on the hunt, it seems.
Actually, a flood of vision there for them as well. Meteos on the chase, but Olaf ultimately will keep Ambition safe. Meanwhile, bottom side.
And they commit to the objectives here. C9 clear out the minion waves. That leaves mid exposed, but C9 opting for more defense. That's the power of that vision that you just mentioned. So hard for them to get out. Meteos still committing.
Yeah, the team is just behind him. The speed up not there. They do actually have a lot of catch potential in that Dissonance and Karma Shield. So there's the potential for those to work if everybody is on board with the play. It was just that Cloud9 was a bit too far back on the slingshot length. 160 to 165. Impact and QV meet back up in the top lane as QV is going to start finishing more items, or I should say getting his recipes.
But because they ran Samsung off of the bottom side and Meteos kept up the delayed chase, you delay the back. I don't know if they'll be able to finish off the turret, but they're working towards it. Here comes Samsung for the engage.
Yeah, they have a lot of zone though, and they have enough damage to actually burn Ambition down. Meteos can re-engage here. Smoothie gets tagged. That's the flash.
Calling for the Shockwave. And the Devour. It was almost like if this one hits, we might take it, throw the Miasma down, and Smoothie looked like a good target. Flash down on him. And maybe something that Ambition can work on after. You make sure to get the counter jungling while he has time.
Yeah, that's the thing with landing poke onto Olaf. He heals so quickly in the jungle. He can easily go right back to full here and then rejoin the siege. It's up to Sneaky and Smoothie now to try and clear.
Yeah, but they're using their abilities for poke, not for wave clear. That's because Meteos is lurking around.
Whoa!
Good eat up by Core JJ, making sure none of the poison was actually triggered into that turret damage. And they get out safely after the Let's Bounce. Meteos saving the turret as well.
Core JJ on this Tahm Kench. Ridiculous amount of saves on teammates with the Devour so far. He is always there. And even with that quick trap placement there from Sneaky, Tahm Kench was the one who ate that as well. Gobbling up everything and keeps Crown safe. Now they're going in on Sneaky though.
If he can get to Sneaky, actually Steadfast Presence wears off. It's Smoothie. Smoothie's flash just went down. The rinse and repeat works. And that's the verdict as well that calls for Sneaky to go down on the engage.
Juve, such a dirty Poppy player. He reads the flash E perfectly and then knocks Sneaky into tower, goes for the finish ulti on 2 targets, and then finishes off Sneaky. That was super well played. This guy is so aware of when he can actually knock people into walls.
And the first dragon of the game, a little neglected, but they finally get to it after all the fights. A cloud over to Samsung Galaxy, and we'll see this engage one more time.
Yep, pretty big engage here. As you mentioned, Juve, he was looking at Sneaky the entire time and lands the stun right there, able to get the double, plus a lot of pressure there for Samsung. Cloud9, though, they're still in this one. Still definitely have the possibility for the big Zac slingshot into the Shockwave. That's what people are looking for.
Now we got to go back to champs like when we talked about, you know, what do these team composition want to do, and it's all about team fighting. And C9's way to win this game is to get an Elastic Slingshot that doesn't get interrupted, and combined with a big Shockwave. It's very hard because there's always that Devour from Core JJ.
And on top of that, Zac is one of the most vision-reliant junglers. He's right up there with Fiddlesticks, where you really have to control your defensive true sight to clear out enemy wards so that they don't see you charging up. If they see you channeling Elastic Slingshot, there's 0% chance that you're going to hit somebody. There's a high % chance that they'll bait you in and they have flashes ready and they'll counter you.
Words out of my mouth.
Be very, very cautious.
Ambition lurking around the corner. Sneaky has to be so careful here. Does not see him coming.
Well, there's the hit. Okay, so Crown, Sneaky's having a trouble. He doesn't even get any help because this was so sporadic by Samsung Galaxy to the top side. C9 thought they could protect this one, but it's going to be Meteos going down as well. The passing will give him a little bit more trouble. They're going to feed this one over. TP in from Impact.
It's actually moving, so it works.
Yep. We're going to see how they get it. Meteos is going to stay alive a little bit longer. Good damage coming in from the Soul Flare from Smoothie, but it's not enough to finish anybody off. It just gives Samsung more time to turn around and find the priority target. 3 members of Cloud9 down as turret number 3.
Every time I've actually seen a teammate use teleport on a Zac blob, and you're like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, remember he can teleport on blobs? They haven't gotten the kill. Here goes Impact flashing on Ruler though.
Nice job by Ruler to spell shield the knock away, but there's still enough follow-up damage. That's all that Impact is building. as he goes for the kill there. Cuvee looking to push these guys out, but they all go right on him. Cuve's already known the core JJ's coming in, and that's going to be Impact having to flash. Already did, cannot get over the wall as he attempted to actually to the skies over to one of the Raptors.
Oh no! Oh.
He says hello, he says goodbye.
Says who's next?
Says who's next?
Meteos is next.
Sneaky as well, throwing it up because he says, yeah, my team's right here. Let's see how long you can fight for ambition. How ambitious are you? And that one goes to Jensen.
And it leaves chip damage on the mid lane turret here. Crown pushing up, Samsung in control. Meteos flying from the jungle. Again, it's all Meteos right now. He needs to find these openings the same way Ambition is picking people off. Samsung is honestly reading the game so well that they're predicting where C9 is going to go, and they're always waiting in a trap here. This play was so beautiful.
I know, the vision set up here from Samsung. They take out Sneaky, only gets off maybe 3 autos the entire time. And then Cloud9, Meteos does defend decently under the turret here with smoothing coming in to try and add some damage. But so many times we see, these teleports channeled only for them to be canceled and the Zac to die anyway.
It's a super cool interaction though, because the blob stays in the same place, but in essence it is actually still moving. So people expected the movement to be the indicator of when Meteos comes out of his passive, but it's actually timer.
Yeah.
So he will jump out and always catches people slightly off guard.
And if, Cuvee had not interrupted that teleport and stopped Impact, that would have been the damage they needed to clean up those extra couple kills. So once again, it feels like we just return over and over to these plays from Cuvee, even though he's not
aware. And coming into Worlds, it was kind of like Cuvee plays safe in the top, they'll be fine. If he just kind of farms and doesn't die, but he is literally putting up play after play and not even really taking enough damage to go down in these fights. Hasn't had to really flash away.
Even like that,
off in time.
It looks so easy, but he activates Stealthy right before that knock comes out from Jace, or mid-knock, because otherwise the channel gets cancelled here. So he's such a great Poppy player. On a champion with a relatively easy kit, he's definitely maxing out and getting the most out of it. He was one of the top laners that also killed Someday there over in Korea. But that achievement became less and less positive because everybody was killing Someday. But he's definitely showing up at Worlds. What a consistently strong top laner. Both performing on carries and utility now with the Poppy.
Consistent as well through 3 games of this quarterfinal best of 5 and live damage dealt. This is still happening. This is throughout the full game, and El Poppy right near the top of the list.
Okay, Cloud9 now actually for the first time really have a pretty good cooldown advantage there. Olaf in the late game without his ultimate and without the ghost, super, super low impact. And we'll see if Cloud9 can actually force anything around this cooldown timer. The Vision War has been very important, so clearing these wards out is not a small thing, and it is definitely going to be a boon for them as far as the mid-game team fight.
It's only a minute of a window of a minute on that Olaf ultimate though. 63 seconds is the cooldown right now. Sneaky, no, not again. Any wards. I just relate. I've been that guy that's face sick so often. You don't want people to. Once or twice is enough. 3 times, it just hurts.
Well, that fear comes back each time now. Sneaky knows he can't get too close. It's either going to be a trap or a ward before him in these next instances. 4K lead here for Samsung Galaxy as they start to encroach on Cloud9's jungle and move their wards in as well.
But they're reading the game so well, always challenging areas, forcing people to face sick at least, maybe burn wards, kill them immediately. They're so aware of their surroundings right now, choking out the vision, and again, setting up for another free objective.
Yeah. And even though Samsung have a composition where they can dive because they have triple tanks and a top Kench to devour anyone who gets low, they're not the type of team to really take a huge risk. So they just get the very easy Drake, move up for the turret, objective first. Impact!
Impact between a Poppy, a Rock, a Hard Place, as well as a Tom Kench. And he goes down as the second tier in bot lane falls. Samsung Galaxy once again at the doorstep of Cloud9's base, sub 30 minutes.
Yeah, people were about to say, what about no risk? But that wasn't risk because they saw the Caitlyn in the top lane, so that looked deep, but it was very calculated at the same time. They're always aware of where all the enemy dots are on the minimap, and then they make high percentage plays that are guaranteed to work, if not, low summoners.
Exactly, the informed decision there. Not going to cost them anything at all. They do get the Drake, they do get the turret. On top of it, they also get the cake, build Impact.
You can't have the cake too.
The Drake and the cake.
2 clouds over to Samsung Galaxy. Ambition's loving the speed to keep these undertows going. And he'll be cross-map every single chance he gets, looking to sweep wards and also set up a nice bait around Baron.
Yeah, and they're
Just
building this comp around Ambition to speed him up in these team fights. They even took such a large hit in the 2v2 matchup, but he's making him pay dividends here. Tag team here, 1 in, 1 out.
Yep, 1 in, 1 out. Perfect way to call it. Sneaky, just too close right now to Cuve, and that means death mostly. The reset attack by Ruler to make sure he gets another one in. And the boomerang didn't even need to come across, as he said, duck, a flash and a heal blown by Sneaky. And it's just going to be that much easier for Samsung Galaxy to find the priority targets, as they're pushing so fast before these flashes even come back up.
Yeah, it looks like the stress is getting to C9 there, because that was technically a flashable play before he got knocked into the wall. Cuve so decisive here, and now in a 45 scenario, Medios flies in.
Medios is in. There's the let's bounce. He's right on top of Cuve. Core JJ very low, thick skin and shield as well to get himself out with that face of the mountain, and Baron is going to live a little bit longer, as well as the rest of Cloud9. And with Sneaky being down, awesome play by C9.
Impact's not finished. He wants to get blood.
Can he do it? He's going to waste a shot there. Almost looking for to the skies. Can he get that E shot in? Pushes Ambition to the right, switches around. The empowered auto is enough, and he finds the kill.
What a great hold by C9. It looked almost impossible. Jensen did not go for the early trigger on the Shockwave. He moved his ball first, placed it on Medios, then moved it with the command attack, got a 3-man Shockwave, and then Medios, right before he was about to drop, flashes out of the pit.
Zac inside the pit with the extra Baron damage, with the Shockwave. Cloud9 defending
To this Baron.
They're going to have to burn it down. There's not a whole lot of damage here as well. Be very careful. It's 4 members. Ambition doesn't have to be up for this fight. And it is going to be very, very low. Cannot even get in range of Crown for the poison. Whoa! Going down. Very, very close from Impact to get himself a kill, but he falls in the Baron pit with Baron damage. Now they're on to Smoothie, and now they're going for Jensen still. Can he get a dissonance on? There's no mana, and Cuve's on the chase. Medios goes down in the back of the fight as we swing back to the Tri-Brush, and it's going to be a few more attacks. He puts the Protect on. That's a lot of damage coming from the hip. Throws up the C9 Shiner, and he makes it out alive.
Ooh, that is going to be a Samsung Baron, but you can see what Cloud9 were thinking there. They were like, we have the window. We killed the jungler. You know, they got a lot of the vision down, so they're going to try and burn it and hope that Samsung were a little slow on their recalls. They got the Baron down to 3,000 health, but Samsung arrived, they chase him off, and now they're going to be the ones marching towards the inhibitor turrets.
The start of the call was fine, but right here, I think Medios is actually going to leap out of the pit, and that's what questions.
He got knocked. He got ejected.
Okay.
Not his choice.
Medios is excused.
Why did he slingshot out?
Yeah, I was like, why did he go out? That was such a good re-engage. So that's actually, again, Cuve. Knocks one guy into the wall and Impact, knocks the jungler out. This combo was
Great
dirty
combo.
from time, but it was just a little bit too late.
That heal from Ruler put just enough health back on to Crown and himself to stay alive for Medios.
Damn, Cube's playing so well on his Poppy. Obviously, Olaf was not there in the last fight. And Sneaky may as well not have been there. He got early miasma on him, and while he was spamming his E key, you could see he was kind of gap close, but he wasn't moving. He realized he was on miasma, took a few steps backward. By that point, he was already on 20% HP. No impact on the fight here. Really good target selection from Samsung. Divide and conquer.
Medios and Cuve and Wet Noodle fighting on the left side. Ruler's got himself a baroned up minion wave with help from Core JJ and Ambition, and that's going to be an inhibitor turret as well. When Samsung has made it in the base, Samsung has stayed for the long haul. It looks like they will play this one safe. They do not want to chance anything. The Sneaky right now trying to put as much damage on as he can to make sure they don't come back on this time around.
Yeah, crowd favorite C9 taken down here. I do hope that we get some cheers for the Samsung lineup.
Absolutely.
They're playing incredibly crisp.
Good play, always to be respected. And Samsung, very unlikely, as we even heard from the analyst desk and Papa Smithy, to be in this position after having to beat KT Rolster 0-16 throughout the season and find their wins. And then it was really undecided what would happen, but they are deciding for a lot of people right now. Samsung is.
Looks like Cloud9 are thinking about pulling the trigger on this tower defense, chunking out Ambition. They also have Meteos waiting up on the top side.
He is split from Jensen though, so you can't look for the ball combo, but they have to, because when Jensen and Meteos play at the same time, it is too easy of a read, so they need to take a different page out of the playbook. Right now, Ambition being poked.
Seeing if he has to blow that Ragnarok. Actually doesn't have it, so he uses the Ghost. May turn around to fight here for a second. And Ambition, he just came back up, and he goes back down.
Every kill is important for Cloud9 trying to get back into this game. And they're closing in on Ruler next. Meteos has a line of sight.
Oh, he gets juked.
Oh, a little bit of a dodge there. Puts on the fancy feet, and Core JJ's with him to go for impact. They get that hit.
Watch
and
out
they
for
get
QV.
that summoner heal from Sneaky as well for the movement speed on top of it.
I'm really liking the aggression that Ruler decides to put out. Sometimes he's not afraid to dash in or step in aggressively for skill shots, but he does it in a calculated way. Reminds you of a smarter Vasily. Vasily always used to dodge aggressively, but he never not dodged aggressively.
Gotta mix it up a little bit there.
Ruler definitely mixes it up.
All right, Meteos actually going on a one-man Drake steal mission here, it looks like.
Not even taking damage as Crown hits that with his spell vamp. It looks like they're going to go ahead and be able to push Meteos out. Crown will go back to soloing out this Mountain Drake. And that'll be Dragon number 3 here as Ruler comes by for a few hits, and he says thank you.
By the way, just an update for Cloud9 side. Meteos on the Zac, full tank Zac, actually has the most damage dealt to champions for Cloud9, which is saying a lot considering they're running the 3 carry team comp once again.
Now, is that a good thing?
Well,
Or a bad thing?
people are always surprised by
Who
Zac
knows?
damage. And as a tank, you get a lot of mileage out of your tank items by staying in the fights for a very long time. Also, you get focused last. So a lot of that comes from them killing Sneaky very early. So Sneaky's going to be down very often. And people, you know, not trying to disengage from the Zac damage. So you get a lot of AoE. You get a lot of long duration fights with which to get off. But it just also speaks to the importance that he's going to have in their defense here. Their last attempt.
And you can see Samsung Galaxy also playing around. That ward on your screen right there is the blocker for any flank engages.
Yep.
Meteos almost has to hide behind a little bit of rubble there. There is a way to hide out of line of sight there, but it's very hard to do so.
They just ping the bottom wave. They know C9 is going to have to spread themselves thin if they want to save damage on that bottom Nexus turret, but it's about the fight. Can they find one here?
And for C9, they need to make Samsung forget about the Orianna ball. They need to move them around left and right and then pray that the Orianna ball surprises them with a shockwave. Rule is no spell shield right now, so technically he could eat the Zac combo. C9 so tense right now. One more inhib means very likely that the game is over, so you could definitely see them set up to pull the trigger right now. They're aware of this. 10,000 gold deficit. Meteos, you can hear him channel. He's going
To the side, spell shield goes up. He'll be eaten up inside Core JJ. They keep him safe. QV's taking the brunt of everything from Cloud9, and the rest of the members take it out, make it out pretty healthy. Now they look for the mid-side turret.
Jensen did save his shockwave there, didn't blow it on the engage. Meteos takes a lot of damage moving towards mid though.
Yeah, Samsung always posturing away from C9. They keep him very split. They kept the Ambition in the mid lane. He threw aggro. Switch it back up to top lane.
A game of ring around the rosy right now. Crown on to Jensen. Jensen out of mana. He's going to have to go back to the Fountain Impact as well, getting pushed out on the middle inhibitor turret, and it looks like Samsung is here to stay inside the base.
So methodical here from Samsung. C9 left with so little opportunity. Meteos goes in again, but gets stopped.
Locket of the Iron Solari, and the Steadfast Presence pretty much shuts Meteos down. Core JJ gobbles him up, and they're going to devour the rest of the blobs. A good attempt by Impact to keep him alive. That's the hit. The shockwave comes in from Jensen, but no members of Samsung Galaxy fall. And now they have to wait for the minions to get on the turret, so they're looking for more Cloud9 members.
Looks like with all the inhibitors down, all Samsung have to do are wait for the minions to assist.
37:30 on the clock. Samsung having the fastest game times, keeps them pretty speedy here. Samsung looking for the last Nexus turret. Is Impact doing his damnedest to deliver the damage through the Sock Blast. To the skies in, he flashes over and takes down Crown. That's a lot of front-end damage that SSG loses, so Galaxy's gonna have to back out and try their hand again in just a few. It's time for cleanup crew from Cloud9.
Can they take down QV? Here comes Tom Kench looking for the Devour.
Getting that movement speed. The flash is forward, actually. They're gonna be able to drop Core JJ on this one. So to go in, they don't get QV. That's gonna be ace in the hole. pushes himself away, gets a little more distance there, and the inhibitor that came up goes back down in that bot lane.
Right, this means that Cloud9 have to stay inside the base, constantly clearing minions. This Baron on the map right now is Samsung's.
That's so huge because playing 2 versus 3 inhibitors makes it twice as hard because you only have 2 creeps coming in every lane. But essentially, the super creeps, they triple if you lose all 3 inhibitors because you get the super creep from the 3rd lane and then they double in every lane as well. So you go from 2 super creeps per wave to 6 in total. It's 3 times as hard. Yeah, this one, I love this combo. The TP to get Meteors back with the Orianna ulti, but it's just simply too late for C9.
They can't line up all the cooldowns. Samsung continually offensive move after offensive move.
They're even waiting. Oh, they killed it. They were waiting for CoreJJ, and when he was a second away from spawning, they're like, no, you want this? Nope, you're the support. You don't get back.
He's 5-1 and 13. Very good kill participation in this game. I'm sure he's feeling good already without that Baron buff, and the team feeling even better as they move in for what could be a final push with minions in each lane. A little hesitation on the bot lane as they drop the last minions of Cloud9's side, and C9 to put up their last defense here at 40 minutes into the game. Impact very, very close to going down. Samsung Galaxy is going to be on to the Nexus 40 minutes in. They came in hungry to book their ticket over to the Big Apple, and it looks like Samsung Galaxy will be moving on to the semifinals at Madison Square Garden.
And these guys, they started in the group of death. They finished their last 3 games in that group convincingly. They came into quarterfinals and they take down C9 in such a convincing fashion. They are more than worthy of praise. What a consistently strong team this Samsung Galaxy is. And sadly, this is the end of the road for C9.
All lanes from Samsung showing up. Juve had huge times where he was the star. Ruler and CoreJJ both with their moments. This looks like a very, very scary team to try and face in the semifinals, whoever their opponent may be.
And these 2 teams shared quite a bit of the same champion pool. Hear the crowd giving much deserved cheers to Samsung Galaxy through their play. Not even showing that much as they move on to the semifinals, running back-to-back compositions that were very similar. And outstanding play from all the players across the board. CoreJJ in the bottom in one of a very new position to him. Amazing.
And you could just see what utility and support could do for a team as well. They had so many plays that could have turned exactly around if the teleport landed. But Juve stopped every single teleport that Impact attempted, even the ones behind this turret. CoreJJ had so many devours that ended up working out. The support from the top laner and the support player here for Samsung helped them so much.
Definitely great communication on display from the Samsung team. For Cloud9 as well, respect and being cheered off the stage for getting to this point at World.
Yeah.
Incredible, incredible opponents that they've had to face, high level of competition, and the road for NA